Hello there, welcome, greetings. This is the Sagittarius new moon reading for 2019 that I'm doing for you. So, alright, I've decided to bring a little smoke into this reading, doing a little burning of some herbs and herb blend that I put together some time ago, actually, and found when I was cleaning today. This is sage and lavender and rose and some lime leaves, actually. So we'll see. It smells great. We'll see what that adds to the reading, perhaps. Alright, business as usual. A lot of decks on the table. Better get to shuffling. Few brief announcements while I do that. and kind of introducing the reading. Alright. So shuffling my tarot deck now. There we go. Where's my notebook? I just wrote down some notes. Here we go. Alright, so currently working on, I think, wrapping up the gratitude event that I was doing with Facebook. And I've extended that. There was a Mercury retrograde going on. Mercury is now direct. So the new moon in Sagittarius, it's exact on the 26th of November, guys. But please keep in mind that these readings aren't usually just for the day of, or even 2-3 days around it. It's oftentimes up to a fortnight before or fortnight after the new moon is exact that these energies and messages will be in play. And you can watch the full moon reading to see how they overlap, or if you're really into the SBAT readings, the new moon and full moon readings. So I'm bringing out the Chakra Wisdom deck for this one. I'm actually very excited about the selection that came up for Sagittarius. I had a moment there where I was like, okay, new moon's around the corner. What are my fiery decks? But I really like what Spirit led me to for decks. I'm also using the Animal Tarot. Is that what it's called? Animal Wisdom Tarot deck, which I haven't used in a while, and the Mystic Munger deck, which I also haven't used in a little while. A lot of the other ones I've been using pretty recently. Anyhow, check out the links down below if you're watching on YouTube and you would like to. There's a link to the Facebook group, and I'm going to be working on getting the Yuletide event up and going soon. So if you join that group, you'll get information about that when it's released. In 2020, there will be a continuation of the Gratitude Portal event. Really, it's part 2 of the Gratitude Portal event, and there's voting going on right now, actually, about whether that's going to occur in January or March. Ultimately, it's going to be up to Spirit and just how things happen, but I wanted to get your input, and I will definitely take that into account and see what I can do as far as that goes. So yeah, New Year's is right around the corner, as is Christmas and various holidays that are celebrated. December, November, we have American Thanksgiving, and I think there's probably some other ones in different areas of the world. So holiday season and New Year's, and when New Year's comes around, and the holiday season wrapping up the end of a year, I tend to start thinking about what I'm gonna do differently, it has been brought up and suggested that I should try YouTube Live on more than one occasion, and I am considering doing that, but I'm probably going to wait until we get into 2020 if I do that, make that change and try that out. So, let's get some cards going. Do like 3 of these, I think. So, disclaimer with these cards, there are yoga poses on each of these cards. That does not mean that I am necessarily advising you to do those yoga poses. Please do not take it as such. That is between you and any healthcare professionals that you work with. Okay. I'm a little bit tired as I'm doing this, so please excuse my extra sighing if there's a lot of extra sighing. I'm just a little bit tired. Alright, so the next full moon that's going to occur after this new moon, we're going to be moving towards the full moon in Gemini. And leading up to this new moon, our most recent full moon, before this full moon in Gemini is the full moon in Taurus. I think I mentioned that already. Alright, so maybe the cards will give us some additional messages about that, and maybe not. We'll just see. Yeah, the Yuletide event. I don't want to even try to talk about what's in that, what's going on with that here in this video. It would just be too much, too overwhelming. But I do want to mention another thing I was thinking about as far as changes go in the 2020 part 2 of the Gratitude Portal event, potentially in the Yuletide event a little bit as well, is being a little bit better about creating interaction with your readings and personalization of your readings. So I think I'm going to do some sort of like build a reading, I don't know, project, build a reading thing, build a reading options. So I'm excited about that. I just jotted down some quick notes when the idea sort of clarified itself to me. And you can find out more about that if you joined the public Facebook group. So here, Sagittarius, new moon, collective energies. What do we have for theme? Okay, we have Capricorn, the 10th house, showing up. And we have water showing up. Capricorn showing up in reverse, water showing up right side up. So my initial thoughts with this involve the sun and other personal planets as they are in the sign of Sagittarius and getting ready to enter Capricorn, moving into Capricorn. So when they're in the sign of Sagittarius, that's the 9th house, it's the house before the 10th house, the sign of Capricorn. I think there's a little bit of clearing away and healing and preparing for that sun to move into the sign of Capricorn going on for us right now. So some like blockages, imbalances that we have going on related to our life purpose, related to our career, related to where we put a lot of time, devotion, hard work, dedication into things, and what we're getting back for results, and having that be fair or what we desire. Being able to actually receive too is coming through. But we have water reverse. This is very powerful, I think. Very nice energy. Let me get some more cards on the table. Okay, we have the Ace of Batons, the Nine of Batons, and the Seven of Cups for tarot. We have recovery from the chakra deck. So I'm reading them as I see them. They're looking, when they look reversed to you, I'm reading them like the right side up. All right, let's look at the Mystic Munder cards. We have ear pressure pose, and the affirmation on that is I speak and hear only positive words. Positivity flows through my being. Yeah, there's some good Sagittarian vibes there. Sagittarius is governed or ruled by the planet Jupiter, and Jupiter is the planet of benevolence and good fortune and good vibes and positivity and optimism and expansion. So I feel like there's a big wave of optimism and positivity that you can ride or get your barrels out and fill, with water from, to utilize. Sleeping angle pose. I speak my truth and allow the universe to light my way. Sagittarius and Jupiter too are about spirituality, even religion, philosophy, higher education. Both feet, toes, fingers pose. I am rooted in consciousness. So here we have a nice harmonious balance, I think, for some at least. And for those of you who aren't feeling it right now, it's apt to be that there's transition going on with this Sagittarius new moon energy that's going to bring these two elements into greater harmony. And the two elements I'm talking about are actually water and earth. So we have, our physical body and tangible reality, finances, resources, stability within the earth element. And with water, we have our emotional and psychological, psychic, our conscious, superconscious, our subconscious, our intuition. They're coming into balance. They're in strong positions. They're looking healthier, healthier and healthier, I think, as time goes on. So there's improvements there and breakthroughs there for people. I want to use the little reminders law of attraction deck next. Just get a couple cards. Motivation and flow. Yeah. Sagittarius is an energy, a sign. Sagittarius is a sign that is very much about movement. If you look at the image, it's what do we call it? The centaur, I think. Right? It's like a horseman, man-horse combo. I think it's a centaur with a bow and arrow, like arching. Okay, so it's very much about movement. It's about forward movement. It's about aiming, having a target, aiming for it, and reaching it. So motivation, the affirmation on this card is, I am motivated, and motivated people help me to improve my finances. This is finance geared, this deck, but you can kind of edit and tweak the affirmation to suit you and your situation at the time. If that, if spirit calls out for you to do that, if your intuition prompts you to do that, if that sounds good. I know I tend to say the same thing in like 3 different ways now and again. Alright, so you could replace finances, for example, with situation, okay, to keep it general. So it could read, I am motivated and motivated people help me to improve my situation, or improve my health, or whatever fits and suits you and your goals and what you're trying to achieve. Flow reads, riches flow into my life in many ways and from many directions. There's an element here of creating avenues for prosperity to flow to you. Okay. Let me take a look at the tarot cards. We had, what, the 8 or the 9 of batons, did I say? The 9 of batons. Okay, so we have an energy of protection, of starting things, getting started with things, new things emerging. So there's this new moon is coming up. Oh God, I don't know if Mercury just makes it out of its shadow period when this new moon comes exact, or it's getting closer, it's about to, but it has just stationed direct yesterday as I'm recording this, and I'm recording it like 6 days before the moon is exact. So there's this energy of Mercury now moving direct and being able to get started and projects get started and things moving forward and emerging that were sort of held down, like held underwater by that Mercury retrograding through Scorpio energy. They were kind of like held down by water, is the image that my spirit guides are showing me to describe it. And while they're held down underwater like that, they were kept, I don't know, they say still, but they were kept from, they were sort of, they were held back. Things were delayed, held back, sort of pushed down instead of allowed to go forward. So now we're switching gears and moving things forward. Okay, and then we have the 7 of Cups. And the 7 of Cups is choices, talks about choices. So again, that thing I was just talking about is coming up about there being choices and decisions and different possibilities to choose from as far as avenues to open for prosperity to come to you, for directions for you to go in, for your aims, what are your goals. That definitely comes up pretty strongly. It's a great time to get in touch with that, I think, for a lot of people, because there's the element water being highlighted by my spirit guides for us. And the water is kind of a special element. They're all special, they're all unique, but when we look at the planet Earth, most of it is made up of water, right? And you can argue with me that it's air if you want to, I don't know. But not only that, we look at our own bodies, most of it is water, right? And this is not only talking about our emotional bodies, which are a big part of who we are and our emotions, right? But also our unconscious, everything we do while we're asleep, and our superconscious, the parts of ourself that, our psychic abilities, our sixth sense, our things that it's very powerful, it's very potent, and it's definitely a flowing energy, an energy of movement. Let's see what else we have here. The cards. do one. Oh, we have the hummingbird, 6 of branches, 1 card from the animal wisdom. Okay, let's do some color cards too. Turquoise, very spiritual energy. This is very spiritual, very powerful. So the message on the turquoise card is awaken your empathy. Then we have rose, attract a relationship. We have white, lighten up. Yeah. So there's relief, guys. There's relief coming in. There is a lightening up of denser energies. There is a certain amount of socialization or social energy, being social, connections, connecting with others. Let me take a look at this hummingbird card. And yeah, I'm just going to put the other cards down first. Use the goddess deck. Sensitivity. Okay. Renunciation. I think I'm saying that right. Like I said in the beginning, I'm tired. That is a big word. Okay, let's take a look at hummingbird. The themes associated with this card are victory, success, recognition, inspiration, and illumined presence. Its message is remember what guides you. Remember what guides you. I'm going to pause here to talk about that just for a minute because the reading is definitely asking you to come home to yourself and letting you know that not only is it safe to find peace and to be at peace and have some faith that things are going to be okay and to release worries and stress, it's useful and beneficial. When you're able to do that, when you're able to bring yourself to a state of tranquility and peace and feel secure, you're able to take better care of yourself and your relationships and your magnetism. So here, there are I don't know if it's like one-on-one relationships, close connections, or it's new people you're meeting, or it's just social energy in general. But there are definitely situations, relationships, connections with other people, other beings, to not exclude, pets, familiars, and so on. It's being highlighted. It's definitely being highlighted by Spirit. Spirit is asking you to awaken your empathy, to try to put yourself in other people's shoes, try to see things from other people's perspectives. So it's asking you to evolve your perspective. Sagittarius, 9th house, evolve your perspective. Get the bird's eye view of the situation. Come at things from a more spiritual place, spiritually grounded place. And I was saving this for last. This is extraordinarily powerful, this message. It's I'm going to read it. It says, Undying love. The love you have shared is eternal, regardless of the situation. Okay. And I'm going to do a thing with this reading if you want. If you make any donation, any size to my PayPal account, then I will get the Goddess Guidance book out and I will read the pages for each of these goddesses to you if you want. Just let me know if you want one goddess read or you want two of them, three of them. I will read them out of the book for you so there's more in-depth messages about these cards. This is a very powerful one, and I really love the way they go into it in the book and talk about this. It's very high vibrational. You know, love is a very high vibrational emotion. Here we're talking about eternal love. We're talking about higher spiritual truths beyond what our ego minds can comprehend, beyond what we're able to feel and intuit and understand. And it has to do with love. And it has to do with time. We have white Terra, sensitivity here on the table. And there is a bit of a cautionary message here. It says you are becoming increasingly sensitive. Avoid harsh relationships, environments, situations, and chemicals. Sagittarius wants to help you lift off. It's like getting you in that hot air balloon so you can go up on this little adventure, enjoy the ride too, and get where you want to go, or get where your destiny tells you to go. Get where you're going, right? Just lighten up. So it's like the hot air balloon analogy or metaphor or whatever comes up because that's how it feels coming out of Scorpionic energy into Sagittarius energy. It's it can be a lightening up. So if you've been taking yourself really seriously, or you've been getting stuck in like doubts and frustrations and negativity or grief or fear, all the cards on the table are supporting you in releasing toxic emotions, toxic thoughts, toxic habits too. But going to a place where you feel better and know that you're safe and protected, and just a place of greater wellness, like lightening your load, lightening yourself, lightening up. It is also pointing to the need for rest and moderation and pacing yourself. White Terra here. Because there's a lot of opportunities on the table and expansions, and the balance is important to avoid overwhelm. Okay, so let me read this square card. It says, each day accept everything that comes to you as a gift. At night, mentally give it all back. In this way, you become free. No one can ever take anything from you, for nothing is yours. So Sagittarian. Please, no, I don't say it in every video, but I've said it in many of my videos. When I say something like that, like that's so Sagittarian, or you know, the tendency of Scorpio, etc., I'm never talking about a person. I am talking about the energies and the houses and the signs, the energies of the signs, but I'm not talking about a person. Yeah, and there's places to leave comments if you're confused about that, and I can get back to you and we can have some dialogue and try to understand each other in time. I answer them when I can. So, Hummingbird. I don't feel like I'm finished reading Hummingbird. I'm not going to read everything in the book, but let's see Spirit highlights. Pollination, ability to fly, are capable of success, alone or in the midst of an adoring crowd. So there's an ability to nourish what you're building in life, nourish growth, nourish creative energy and creations. Okay, we have the pollinating that came up first with hummingbird, right? And we have movement in that activity with the bird flying around from flower to flower. I think most of you are going to have a number of fun experiences or connections or presents, gifts from the universe, enjoyable experiences happening soon and around this new moon in Sagittarius. Okay, here's there's also an energy here about there being balance as far as when you're alone with spirit and on your own, and also with others in crowds even. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So if you feel really nervous when you're alone, for example, or if you have the opposite situation where you feel really nervous when you're in crowds or you're around other people, Spirit may be kind of asking you or bringing up the opportunity or giving you the challenge to balance that out some, so that you have less anxiety, less fear, less stress in whichever situation it is. Because Spirit's saying that you can function from a really liberated, perhaps fresh place, a higher perspective, and there can be more flow when you have both in your life. When you make time to be alone with yourself, with spirit, and do things on your own, and when you also work together with others and interact with others and mingle and so on. Okay, so let's see, what else, if anything, do we want to do for this reading? I think I am going to do one, maybe two more cards from the Law of Attraction deck. Go. Grounding and Faith. And then we'll do one more square card. We'll wrap up your reading. Prosperity. So this is the same card that came up in the Taurus full moon reading, the last moon reading that I did. Faith reads, I have faith that I can manifest the wealth and prosperity that I desire. It's an important part of the process. Okay, and now we have, I think Jupiter, something happened with Jupiter. I've got to look at it. I'm hoping to do that soon. Jupiter may have gone home to Sagittarius or something. I'm a little confused about what was going on there. I was listening to a video somebody else did earlier. But, you know, this is Sagittarius season, and Jupiter, Sagittarius, they actually are the house of faith. So, you know, it's under the right stars if you want to go with the whole as above, so below thing to expand your faith. If you make a conscious choice and effort, if that's not your intent with this energy, I feel if that's not your intent, if you don't say, okay, that's my target, now I'm going to draw my target and I'm going to point my aim to have more faith, to expand my ability to carry faith, to expand my faith, then you may stay stuck in old cycles of resistance. But if you make that aim, I think you're going to see expansion that affects your prosperity and your abundance, your ability to manifest what you desire. And then we have the grounding card, and it reads, I center and ground myself despite emotional upset around me. I feel like maybe there's an increase for some of us, hopefully most of us, in our ability to sort of hold our own against the winds. And our ability to be in the driver's seat and, I'm going to use the phrase, in control of our emotions and our experience now. And doing grounding exercises, taking good care of yourself, grounding yourself is important, and it's the action step that's being highlighted here, to take and keep taking to build up your resistance to negativity, so it doesn't affect you in a way that bogs you down. And that color card white that says lighten up just popped into my head, so connected in there for some reason. Prosperity. Prosperity is not in what you have attained, but rather in what you give away. For it is only when you become empty that you can be filled with something greater. So, releasing negativity, doubts, fears, restrictions that we've outgrown, these things, that is prosperity as much as anything else. That is very much prosperity. It's not always about, you gain something when you release it, right? But it's not always about like more, because there's a void that needs to be filled. Sometimes there's stuff that's in the way, and when we release that, that's such a blessing. That's a bigger prosperity than what anything that could have come to us to add into the mix. I'm also picking up from this reading, that there is a lot of sharing, back and forth sharing, a lot of receiving, if you're open to it. Like there's, it's the holiday season, and it's like the gift giving vibes. There's giving and there's receiving. Let me read the prosperity card for a minute, because that's what triggered this thought, even though I saw it coming up in the reading prior. It says, prosperity is not in what you have attained, but rather in what you give away. For it is only when you become empty that you can be filled with something greater. So I think there's an energy here, and everybody's perhaps at a different stage with it, or like a different place in line, but we're all on this path of coming to look at what can we give away, what do we want to give away, what do we want to gift to others, right? What do we want to contribute? And as it passes through your hands into somebody else's life, you free up space so that something greater can come in. That is going to conclude your reading. I hope that it was helpful, useful, beneficial. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope it was fun. And I'll talk to you later. Have a wonderful new moon in Sagittarius. Take care and namaste. Blessed be. Bye-bye. Whoa.